Salutations, fellow nerds. I'm Rick Y, the Wise Guy, and today is December 23rd, 2024, and it's apparent that we're now threatening another country over some bunk reasoning because Trump has the bluster of a territorial goose. You know, angry, makes a lot of weird hissing noises, but kind of when you get up in his face, he just wanders off to the YMCA music. This is not at all unlike the incoming president's foreign diplomacy strategy, as he's already gone after Mexico and Canada for what he sees as unfair trade disputes that he established during his first term. And now he's lashing out at Panama. So if you enjoy news, history, and general Americana, make sure to hit that like and sub button, and I'll bring it at you with gumption relative to the amount of coffee that I've had. It's been difficult, what with the prices of crack trifle recently. So, what the hell? I'm sure some of you are probably confused because you thought we were, gonna be invading Mexico, but now we're hearing about the potential invasion of Panama. What kind of homeland security threat has been levied upon us to garner such a reaction from a president who his supporters claim is against war? Well, it's actually kind of a mix of different issues that should be fleshed out more than a lot of Americans are probably aware of or keep up to speed on. And it's entirely based on earth sciences, engineering, and a sentient yam that is still flustered when information surpasses his attention span. The Panama Canal was probably one of the most incredible feats of human engineering of our history. I really cannot understate how cool this whole thing was. While some folks may think it's just a canal dug into the ground, it's actually only partially excavated. Instead, it was actually built upward into the mountains, and they flooded the area within. They use a system of corridors that fill and act as elevators, lifting ships within to the height that they had to build the canal over the mountains and rugged landscape of Panama. Keep in mind, the most mind-boggling technology of the time of the construction were radios and telephones, and I believe the toaster. So in 1906, Congress gave the permission to get this done in 8 years, and they did it. I'm not going to go over the details of this because it's truly astounding the lengths that workers went to make this happen. What this does is open a narrow path for both military and commercial vessels to pass through Central America, instead of having to go all the way around the coast of South America. This was a phenomenal strategic advantage for the United States, both militarily and economically. Trade and warships could now get from the Atlantic Ocean and get to the Pacific Ocean in a matter of hours, not weeks. There was an issue, though, therein being that Panama was not a part of the United States. So deals had to be made to allow for this to legally occur. One of those was the High Harén Treaty in 1903. Panama, at the time, was actually under the control of the Colombian government, who authored the treaty. This allowed the United States a 99-year lease to build the canal, although the Senate was not super thrilled about it. After Panama declared their independence from Colombia in 1903, U.S. naval forces were deployed to the area to quell any rebellions. This partnership with the independence movement that arose in Panama at the time gave the U.S. a lot of leverage in creating a new treaty with the new independent Panamanian government. This was called the High Buenaventura Treaty, which dictated that we establish a perpetual lease with the government, wherein they would receive a $10 million payout and a $250,000 annual annuity. It also ceded much of the control of the canal to the United States, which many Panamanians were not too keen on. Resentment grew over time. And then this resentment actually boiled over such that revisions to older deals had to be made. In 1977, the Torrijos-Carter treaties were declared and stipulated that Panama would actually receive full control over the canal by 1999. And December 31st of that year, that's exactly what happened. Recently, droughts have pushed Panama to the brink of having to levy both fees and limit the passage to ships through the canal. The drought has all but ended, but the fees have actually kind of continued. So a month before taking office, Donald Trump is threatening to take control of the canal by force. This has caused quite a stir within the Panamanian government, who have now started to make public statements aimed at the insanity of even suggesting what Donald Trump is demanding here. While fees imposed are high for American vessels and others, suggesting that we invade them and take them by force is both unnerving as it is devoid of any critical thought. Panama's president, Jose Raul Molino, said every square meter of the Panama Canal and its surroundings belongs to Panama and will continue to be. The sovereignty and independence of our country are non-negotiable. He also stated that Panamanians may have different views on many issues, but when it comes to our canal and our sovereignty, we will all unite under our Panamanian flag. To which Donald Trump responded, "We'll see about that." This is where I wonder what part of being anti-war is having such a fervent desire to invade our allies with military force, or even suggest it on a whim. This, again, is another example of Donald Trump having outright lied to his voters and now making it abundantly clear that he's going to make every attempt at trying to go against everything they voted for. We have to stop expecting the best out of Trump and instead start demanding his voters hold him to account. He's now offered to halt the war in Ukraine, which means everything that's maintaining a democratic foothold in Eastern Europe might go down. He wants to invade Mexico. He says he wants to take Greenland, and he's now suggesting that we invade Panama. We need to ask our MAGA friends and family what part of this shit has to do with anything that they voted for. And there are only 3 things that will happen if you approach them about these things. 1, they move the goalpost and try to say that this was all part of the plan when they're waking up to just as much of a shock to this news as you are. 2, they're going to look you straight in the eye and tell you that none of it's ever happening and that none of this ever happened. It's called gaslighting. This is a form of psychological manipulation on their part. Don't let them disrespect you like that. They're trying to exploit you, and in doing so, they're insulting your intelligence. And 3, the last probable but still possible outcome is that they acknowledge that you're right and ask you what to do, how to go from here. At which point, the only thing that you can do is help them to stay informed, stay engaged, and stay decent. Until next time, we're just going to have to watch as this fresh, fluid hell unfolds. Thanks for watching, and make sure to share with whoever you think needs to hear it. I do truly, truly appreciate your viewership. Y'all come back now. You hear?